A nuclear weapon is a high explosive device whose destructive force is derived from nuclear fission, nuclear fusion, or a combination of the two. Atom bombs, atomic bombs, A-bombs, nuclear warheads, or simply nuke are all names for nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are classified into two types: fission and combination weapons, and even more destructive fusion-based designs, which are technically thermonuclear weapons and may also be referred to as thermonuclear bombs, fusion bombs, hydrogen bombs, or H-bombs. Nuclear weapons produce massive levels of explosive power measured in kilotons, 1,000 tons of TNT, and megatons, 1 billion tons of TNT, as well as heat and radiation. They are easily the most terrifying weapons on the planet, capable of causing greater murder, damage, injury, and sickness than any other weapon. 3 states that are not signatories to the NPT, namely India, Pakistan, and North Korea, have carried out overt nuclear tests since the treaty's entry into the force in 1970. North Korea had previously joined the NPT but left in 2003. Israel is also widely believed to possess nuclear weapons but refuses to recognize this, choosing instead to maintain a policy of purposeful ambiguity. Israel is thought to have anything from 75 to 400 nuclear bombs. The desire for less expensive political deterrence is one potential driver of nuclear ambiguity. South Africa, which developed nuclear weapons but dismantled its arsenal before signing the NPT, and the former Soviet republics of Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine, whose weapons were returned to Russia, are examples of states that once had nuclear weapons. As of 2021, 13,080 nuclear weapons were present in the world, according to Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, or SIPRI. Over 90% of these are controlled by either Russia or the United States, and about 30% of them are in use with operational troops. Nuclear weapon stockpiles today. There are now around 13,080 nuclear weapons in the globe. While this is significantly less than either the United States or Russia had at the height of the Cold War, it's worth noting that there are more nations possessing nuclear weapons than there were 30 or 40 years ago. Russia currently has the most nuclear weapons, with an estimated 6,257 total warheads. There are 1,458 active deployments. The current START II treaty restricts both the US and Russia to 1,550 deployed total. 3,039 inactive but ready to be activated, and 1,760 decommissioned and pending decommissioning. The United States is close behind, with 5,550 total nuclear weapons, 1,389 operational, 2,361 dormant but available, and 1,800 on the verge of being decommissioned. A single nuclear bomb might result in the death of hundreds of thousands of people, with terrible long-term effects on both the environment and humankind. There are an estimated 13,000 nuclear weapons in existence between Russia and the United States, the United Kingdom, France, China, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea, the majority of which are significantly more potent than the bomb detonated on Hiroshima. The issue also affects 31 other states. Which countries are equipped with nuclear weapons? Russia, 6,257, 1,458 active, 3,039 available, 1,760 retired. United States, 5,550, 1,389 active, 2,361 available, 1,800 retired. China, 350 available. Actively expanding nuclear arsenal. France, 290 available. United Kingdom, 225 available. Pakistan, 165 available. India, 156 available. Israel, 90 available. North Korea, 40 to 50 available estimated. Finally, the explosion released deadly ionizing radiation and lingering radioactive fallout, in which the initial explosion's debris that was launched into the stratosphere is kept aloft by atmospheric winds and returns to Earth over the following few days. According to a 1945 government investigation, the bombing of Hiroshima was responsible for a total of 66,000 fatalities and 69,000 wounded. Less tragically, but still devastating, there were 39,000 fatalities and 25,000 injuries in Nagasaki. Nuclear weapon sharing. The United States has provided nuclear weapons for deployment and storage in Belgium, Italy, the Netherlands, and Turkey under the NATO Nuclear Weapons Sharing Agreement. The non-nuclear NATO states, pilots, and other personnel must practice using, handling, and dropping American nuclear bombs while also modifying non-American jets to do so. However, all US nuclear weapons are protected by permissive action links, making it difficult for the host states to arm the bombs without permission from the US Department of Defense. The existence of American nuclear weapons in Italy was recognized by the former president of Italy, Francesco Cossiga. Between 1963 and 1984, the United States also stationed nuclear weapons in Canada and Greece. 3 of the 4 nuclear-capable armament systems were removed by Canada by 1972. Given its small output of 1.5 kilotons and designed to target enemy aircraft rather than ground targets, the lone device still in use, the Air-2 Genie, might not have met the criteria for a weapon of mass destruction. All nations have been urged to refrain from nuclear sharing for military purposes under any sort of security arrangements, according to members of the non-aligned movement. According to the Institute of Strategic Studies in Islamabad, ISI, the agreement is in violation of Articles 1 and 2 of the NPT because these articles do not permit the NWS to delegate the control of their nuclear weapons directly or indirectly to others. Due to the fact that the US nuclear weapons based in Europe are in the sole possession and under constant and complete custody and control of the United States, NATO claims that sharing the weapons is in compliance with the NPT. Increased nuclear activity during the Cold War. Nuclear weapons were designated as the ultimate weapon of war after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which sparked an arms race between the US and the Soviet Union. The buildup of nuclear weapons persisted into the late 1980s and was a key aspect of the so-called Cold War, in which the US and USSR openly contended without actually going to war. The nuclear arms race peaked in 1986 when the Soviet Union had more than 40,000 nuclear warheads and the United States had 23,000, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. The concept of mutually assured destruction, according to which both sides believed that the best way to prevent nuclear war was to have so many nuclear weapons that the adversary would not launch an attack out of concern that they could not sufficiently destroy the target's country's arsenal to avoid being completely destroyed by a retaliatory attack, served as the foundation for much of this proliferation. Both sides removed thousands of nuclear weapons after the Soviet Union fell apart in 1991. Agreements limiting nuclear weapons. Governments have negotiated arms control accords like the 1970 Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, the 1972 Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, SALT, and the 1991 Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty due to the widespread lethality and destruction potential of nuclear weapons, START. The NPT is designed to prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons. The United States, Russia, China, France, and the United Kingdom are designated as nuclear weapon states, NWS, whereas the other countries are categorized as non-nuclear weapon states, NNWS. In accordance with the treaty, both NWS and NNWS agree to refrain from assisting the other in the development or acquisition of nuclear weapons. Countries from both categories also concur to cooperate with one another in the development of nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, see nuclear power by country, and in the sincere pursuit of nuclear disarmament. By 2022, almost all nations had ratified the NPT despite North Korea's well-known withdrawal from the agreement in 2003.